enjoyed that last one. It was really fun to do in the choreo and everything. And I apologize that the intro for this next song that I have is a little longer than the other intros, but I just found that I had a lot of stuff to say about this song. Alright, so the song is called Silence, and it was originally performed by Sarah McLachlan, and the theme is something that as Christians, we all struggle with pretty much daily. And to give you a picture of what I'm talking about, sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I'm going to read a short passage from the Bible. This passage comes from 1 Kings 19. And the word of the Lord came to him. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, broken down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I'm the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too." The Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. There are many times in our lives when we feel like the world is crashing down around us and it seems like God is silent. One year while I was in undergrad, if you guys didn't pick up already, I'm a grad student. There was a year when it seemed like everything that could go wrong in my family was going wrong. My grandpa died, my grandma fell and broke her pelvis, we had to put my dog down. My dad had a herniated disc in his back and couldn't go to work for a few months. My mom was having health issues, and then my 25-year-old sister developed a tumor in her breast. So at that point, I felt like Elijah. Everything around me was going wrong, and I kept trying to listen for God's voice and listening for God's reassurance that everything would be okay. But all I could hear was the noise of the wind and ripping the mountains apart, and all I could feel was the earthquake, and all I could see was the fire. But the passage goes on. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled his cloak over his face and went and stood at the mountain of the cave. Then a voice said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" God wasn't in the wind, he wasn't in the earthquake or the fire. He needed Elijah to hang on just a little bit more until he could hear him in the gentle whisper. I heard the gentle whisper one night when I stayed up with my sister, comforting her and praying for her after we found out that she would have to have surgery to remove the tumor. It was in that moment, in all the fear and uncertainty, that God's whisper finally came to me. I knew in that moment, even though everything seemed to be going wrong, all I could see was this giant white wave around me, and there was all this noise. In that moment, I still believed, and that's what this song is about.